I know at least one of them is a Tesla fan, so I'm curious to think of whether you think GM is a good stock to buy or kind of a legacy automaker that isn't going to be a great place for investors to put capital.
I'm in the not a great place to put capital camp.
Okay. Well, what one of the investment principles I try to get across, and I'm pretty sure you've tweeted something to this effect, is that if you don't understand the other side of the argument, then you haven't done enough research yet. So I totally get that not everyone is on board with that. There's a reason that GM trades for just over 10 times earnings. It's not because people are as optimistic as they are about Tesla. I know I'm kind of in the minority there. Other Brian's being silent, so I'm wondering what he thinks.
No, so I'm very similar. I watched GM and, close factories and just the amount of plants that they had in Michigan alone. I remember a story in Fortune and how that's decimated. They've laid off hundreds of thousands of people over the years. And, I like Mary Barra. I think she's the right CEO for GM for this time. But yeah, I just can't get over the capital, the capital requirements. And I like companies that have recurring revenue. And so it's hard to say that you're going to buy a new GM car every month.
Well,
we don't have full time to debate the merits.
I see a couple of comments in the chat wanting a debate.
Yeah, Dog Mom, she said, bring it on.
I will happily, I will happily do that. There's obviously tons to talk about here, and I will point out that we had a pretty extensive multi-hour debate about Tesla a couple months ago. We had like hours upon hours of Tesla debate. We had the bear argument, crazy. We had the bull argument, that kind of thing. We could do the same thing with GM and Ford and that.
And here's I'm going to try to egg Brian on a little bit right here. GM also made it clear that they have no interest in putting that $22 billion of cash in Bitcoin. Another thing I love about the company.
There you go.
So they're making mistakes left and right, is what you're saying, Matt, right?
I mean, I don't understand how you can make the argument. I mean, any CEO or any board of directors has a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders. How can you make the fiduciary argument for putting part of your company's assets that you're expected to use to grow the business into a speculative asset? I don't see how, regardless of what you think Bitcoin's going to do, I don't see how you can make the case that that's in shareholders' best interest.
I think it's
a marketing play.
Exactly. One, it's a marketing play. Two, it's irrelevant. Tesla's worth $783 billion. 1.5 billion in Bitcoin is 0.1%, 0.2% of their market value.
Yeah, but what percentage of their cash is it?
5%, 7%, something like that.
It's not nothing.
Yeah.
But
and they've made money on it so far.
In the last couple of days. Awesome.
Yeah.
So did the person who bought the right lottery ticket yesterday. I mean, you can't really make that argument. I don't know. We could, maybe next week we'll have a show where Brian Withers can be the referee.
There you go.
But no, I mean, my argument is that if their EVs sell as well as their gasoline cars, and if Cruise realizes its full potential, I think there's no reason GM can't be a 10x in the next decade.
Wow. You heard it here first.
You might be right.
And like I said, it would still be worth less than Tesla.
The tricky thing for me, the hard part that I have with the traditional automakers is when there's a sea change in technology, it is extremely hard for a company to change its business model to a different platform. That's a very, very hard thing to do. It's not impossible. It's just extremely hard.
I would argue that GM actually made a mass market EV 2 decades before Tesla was a company.
Yeah.
Yep. And then crushed it.
But I'm saying
they should be the leader.
It's not a total pivot. I'm saying they've been developing EV technology for some time. I mean, the Volt was a pretty revolutionary vehicle in its price range. You really can't argue that. So I mean, they're not. I'd say out of the traditional automakers, GM has a first mover advantage in EVs.
And like Brian said, I think that Mary Barra is doing a great job. I like her as a leader. I just don't know if I would put capital on them succeeding, but I could be wrong.
I could totally be wrong too.